So, you want a main Gebura. Well, do you like big numbers? Do you like E.G.O? Do you like Violet Evergarden? Do you like being a badass? And do you have the courage to protect? Then Gebura, the Red Mist, is for you.
Back streets are cruel, Jack. And I am cruel as well.
No!
Yes!
I was one off! You Bait used to be believable. Holy shit, is that the Red Mist? Well, kinda. Currently, she is known as Gebura, the patron librarian of language and resident smoker. Though, in her past life, she was known as Callie, the Red Mist. Callie was born and raised in the back streets of District 23, infamous for the amount of violence and bloodshed, even among other districts.
Violet, listen. You have to live and be free.
By some miracle, Callie survived hell. By the age of 13, her training arc began. Not wanting others to suffer those inhumane conditions, she was determined to become a fixer that protected those who were unable to fight back. A hero. Upon turning 20, she became a fixer, rising quickly through the ranks. Upon hitting grade 2, she met Carmen, the head researcher of the Seed of Light project, a project that could give the weakest person the power to topple the head. Impressed by Carmen's courage and tenacity, Callie joined the project as their protector. During her time there, Carmen gave Callie Nothing There's E.G.O weapon, Mimicry, for her personal use. What Carmen failed to mention was this sword housed the ideas of the abnormality that could make a person go insane. For many weeks, Callie had to fight off insanity. Eventually, she accepted its influence. Instead of being consumed by it, she felt lighter. She could think clearer. She could move faster. The abnormality encased Callie in armor, making it her shell, becoming the first person to gain E.G.O. Upon further training and many more assignments, Callie was recognized by Hannah Association and was rewarded the title of the Red Mist, aptly named for the thick mist of blood she would leave in combat. Sometime after that, Carmen died, leading to the destruction of the lab. The head sent Garion and 2 claws to dispose of them. Callie sprang to action, swiftly defeating the claws and was locked in battle with Garion. About to lose to Garion, she mustered the last of her strength and slew her. This victory came at the cost of Callie's life. However, she protected 2 of the head researchers who proceeded to revive Callie into a new body, calling her Gebura, the Saphira of the disciplinary team. As Gebura, she continued her work on the Seed of Light project.
You see, you don't realize yet, but your body is on fire and burning up because of the things you did. Someday, you'll understand what I said, and then you'll realize for the first time that you have many burns.
About to finish it, Angela betrayed Lobotomy Corporation, wanting the light for herself. After a fierce battle, and Gebura losing to Bina, the 2 sides allowed Angela to keep the remaining light. In return, Angela takes everyone to the library of Ruina. At its opening, Gebura is in a weakened state, without her unique gear or E.G.O. This changes after Angela wants to reattract Argalia, the blue reverberation.
Like a Tribe Called Quest, you say the whole thing.
Using the light available, Angela made a light version of Callie and started a reception. Using one of many strats, Gun Squad, 1v1, Final Destination, the Battle of Legends, the Speed Run, or We're Slow Here. After a tough fight, Gebura receives the Red Mist key page. Back at mostly full strength, Gebura is ready to take on future guests that threaten the library, showing them her courage to protect.
Swing it wide open!
The Red Mist is an Object de Arte key page with 105 HP, 57 stagger resistance, a 1-8 speed range, and is endured to blunt damage. Her passives are legendary. Only she can equip this key page. At personal emotion level 4, she gains the Manifest E.G.O combat card and can use greater vertical and horizontal split E.G.O cards, but is unable to use other E.G.O. She has speed 3, so she'll get an additional speed die at emotion level 3. Retaliate. At the start of the scene, gain a 4-8 counter slash die. And finally, the strongest. Set the lowest speed die to infinity. If multiple dice are the lowest, all become infinity. Overall, a great set of passives. Retaliate is a free action and can be used to farm emotion coins if needed. Strongest allows her to clash with anything and enables broken combos. The only downside is the legendary passive that prevents the user from using other E.G.O cards. However, that is quickly mitigated by how overpowered her 2 E.G.O pages are. As busted as Callie's key page is, it's her combat cards that carry her. Majority of her cards rely on getting 8 damage off in order to proc their effect. Effects that boost the damage like Smoke, Puffy Broom, and Fragile will help with getting it off, while statuses and effects that deal damage separate like Bleed and flat damage passives will not contribute. Also, all of these cards will reduce other cards with the same name but not itself, encouraging Gebura to have at least 2 copies if you want to get the cost reduction. This is also great storytelling for how much she hates the index by actively going against Singleton. Let's start off with one of her 2 main draw cards, Upstanding Slash. A 2-cost card with a 6-10 and a 6-9 blunt rolls. It has the 8 damage requirement, and achieving it, you draw a card. This is the card you want to see when starting a reception. It has above average roll range and can usually beat any other card it is going against, making it strong before strength buffs or power null effects. Once the strength buffs kick in, it is time for a beatdown. You can take advantage of the 2-die attack by clashing into a 3-die one to get Gebura damage. This will help her proc certain abnormality pages later on in the reception. It does scale well the later the act goes, however, there is a far better card for it. Spear. A 2-cost card with the 8+ damage requirement that draws a card. It has a 3-8, 3-7, and 3-7 pierce dice. This is her hyper late game card when she gets a ludicrous amount of strength gain, making her hit like a freight train. To balance it out, she has trouble activating at the start due to the low min rolls you can get, making it pitiful for trying to get the 8 damage off. It is recommended to wait for your strength gain to be online before using this card in clashes. If you do want to proc the activation effect early, try to go for one-sided attacks, if no counter dice, and that will usually proc it. Or you don't care, because a certain attribution completely mitigates this. Now for her unique light recovery card and the red-haired stepchild, Level Slash. A 2-cost card that has the 8 damage requirement and rewards 2 light restore. It has a 5-8 and 5-9 slashing dice with on hit inflict 3 bleed. At the start of an act, getting this off will refund the activation cost, while later on, it'll be a +2 light recovery, making it an investment card. Unlike her other 8 damage cards, this one does inflict bleeding. While not helping to get her activation effect off, it does help synergize with abnormality pages like Vampire, though it gets completely invalidated by a 1-cost. This card is great for decks that don't want to use Spear or Upstanding Slash like her counter dice build or whatever crazy deck you want to come up with. In her Spear and Upstanding Slash builds, this card will either be a 2 of or not used at all. Thanks to emotion levels, Gebura has 5 restore all light effects, giving her plenty of time to get her main cards to 0 cost. Essentially, she has a free deck to play with and can now rely on staggering and killing people to get that light back, making Level Slash irrelevant. In other decks that aren't Singleton, this is one of the best light recovery cards. Now, if this was available for Hod, she would really appreciate it. Time for the best strength gaining combat page in the game, Focus Spirit. A 2-cost page with a 9-12 lead block die, followed by a 5-7 blunt die with on hit gain 3 strength next scene. A lot of strength, is cheap, and is easy to get off. Gebura wants to use this card against a singular attack. The block die will tank the damage from it and allow the on hit part to always do a one-sided attack on the enemy, triggering the effect. Thus starting your strength gaining snowball from turn 2 onward, and you're going to maintain that momentum to hit your late game stride. Focus Spirit makes certain your spear and upstanding slash get the damage requirements off while winning the clashes that are being thrown at them. Run 1 to 2 copies at all times with a maximum of 3 for certain builds. Just make sure you get that strength gain off. If not, it will delay Gebura massively from her late game. Time for I get to hit everyone, but not be a mass attack, Onrush. A 3-cost page with a 14 to 26 slash die. It has the effect, if this card staggers or kills a guest, use this page again, but targets are chosen randomly. This effect can activate multiple times. You are paying 3 light for the initial, and every reuse is free. When the enemy is low on stagger or low HP, you can use this card to clear the rest of the board, allowing it to have the most light restore in the game at 10, under certain conditions. So how does this happen? Whenever you stagger or kill a target, you restore 1 light. If there are 5 enemies that are low on stagger, you get 1 light for staggering them and 1 for killing them. With the resetting mechanic, you can get up to 10. This is rather unlikely to happen. It's more likely to restore 1 to 3 light. Either way, the stage must be set up in order to get a refund. Try to get enemies that are close to staggering or low on HP and then let it rip. In a singular boss fight, this card can also be used to clash against other high rolling cards if you think you can win. I have seen it outdo Furioso, Xiao's Jin Ni, and even Tanya's Beatdown. This is high risk, and it's usually better to use Focus Spirit to tank it, or let her other specialty page, Greater Split Vertical, handle it. A 5-cost E.G.O page with a 20 to 39 slash die, with the on-hit effect of destroying a random unused speed die card. This starts in your E.G.O deck at the start of the act, and only Gebura can recharge the E.G.O the turn after it is used. Requires 18 emotion coins to recharge. Ah yes, the card that deals with other cards. It can be used in one of 2 ways. The first way is to brute force a clash and using the insane roll, easily win it. Or, you can use your brain and use its on-hit effect. The Destroy a Speed Die card is an unused card that will be played this scene. By sequencing Vertical Split, you can clash another combat page to destroy a devastating attack, like all those high-rolling combat pages without ever seeing it. This is a gamble though, and if you want it to be consistent, you need to have a massive speed advantage. Using it will starve Gebura of Light, but, well, the rest of the deck is free, so you can easily play around it. Do be careful if used early on though. It doesn't generate any emotion coins, and you could miss a level up. Which we don't want to do, because it is critical to get to her E.G.O card. In order to get into her E.G.O, you must first activate the 2-cost card, Manifest E.G.O. The card will be in hand at emotion level 4. On use, restore all stagger resistance and restore 6 light. It comes with a 8 to 15 block die, followed by an 8 to 15 invade die. The calm before the bloodbath, giving your enemy a chance to stop you, and if they don't do well, they won't be long for this world. Restoring all stagger takes care of any nicks and helps with maintaining her new form. If possible, try to use this as the last action to get the full 6 light recovery and the full stagger recovery. The lead block die is perfect for tanking a damaging attack, and any other attacks afterwards will restore your stagger back to max.
This party's getting crazy. Let's rock.
With that 6 light, it's time for her ultimate attack, Greater Split Horizontal. A 6-cost summation mass attack that has a 28 to 42 slashing die. That also inflicts 5 bleed next scene. The Great Delete button. Yes, the cost is outrageous, but is totally justified. At this point, majority of your deck is 0 cost cards, and now all available light can be used to keep playing this card again and again and again, devastating everything in the Red Mist's way. This gets even more insane with the new passives gained while in this form. While in the Red Mist E.G.O, gain 1 more endured damage type resistance, but it'll randomly switch which resistance is endured. Allows the use of greater/horizontal in her E.G.O cards. Finally, gain 2 dice power, and for every kill Gebura achieves, increase her dice power by 1 to a maximum of 5 for the remainder of the act. In return, she must deal 40 or more damage each scene, otherwise she takes 23 stagger damage. If staggered while Red Mist is active, remove the Red Mist passive till next act. Any power gains from Red Mist kills are kept for the remainder of the act, but are unable to stack any more counters. Any stack gain will not transfer into the next act. Holy cow, that was a mouthful. In Project Moon, that is how you do a second passive. Very powerful passive that rewards the player for getting her to her late game status and being able to sustain her Red Mist form. The 40 plus damage is relatively easy to achieve, but be aware that certain bosses can nullify or lower the damage received, and block dice spam can stop you from achieving that goal. To help combat the stagger damage downside, either run Mind Hauler or slot in a combat card with an invade die to recover a lot of stagger on a weak enemy combat page, permanently keeping you in beatdown mode. Now, that's all well and good, but I want to ask the real question. How do I play the Red Mist?
That nickname you love so much. Wanna know how I got it? Actually, why don't I give you a demonstration? I think it's time for Jack to let her rip.
How to play Red Mist, how to play Red Mist. If I had to describe the Red Mist in one word, it's powerful. Everything that she does makes you feel like a raid boss. All of your dice rolls are above 20. Enemy loses all of their clashes. Any that do hit Gebura bounces off her shell, while hers turns them into a thick red mist. The Red Mist is the biggest Unga Bunga I-Wing character in the game. Getting her E.G.O off means you already won, and it's now time to spam that P button to victory. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is going to stop you at this point. However, as great as this power fantasy is, Gebura does have some drawbacks. Not major ones, mind you, but I need to say them. Gebura doesn't start off as this 1v5 god of destruction. She has a weak early game. She needs to get set up, usually relying on her teammates to keep the pressure off of her. Once she starts getting her cost reduction, emotion levels, and strength up, she quickly snowballs into a raid boss. Failing to get that 8 damage off slows her down immensely, and if done way too much,
I can still fight! Go! You're just dead weight!
Again, this is so easy to work around that you kind of know how to deal with it. That's it. If you somehow messed up dealing 40 damage in E.G.O, something is insanely wrong, and I'm going to ask many questions. And not really. I don't have the energy. I'll let the community do that. Build-wise, the Red Mist has the amazing ability to customize her deck to however she feels like it. You have the vanilla ice cream. I will feed you to the mountain. 1v1, final destination. I am the choo-choo train of death. I'll fight you all. I am the support now. You get a strength buff. You get a strength buff. Everyone gets a strength buff. And for the delusional index enjoyers, here's your not lore accurate singleton build. For abnormalities, I'm going to be completely honest. You're going to put everything on Gebura and rain hell. There will be some special exceptions to this rule. Let's begin with the first batch, and it's... Ugh! It's the Lil Red Mercenary. Seriously, you call yourself a merc and proceed to fail against the beast you're trying to hunt? Jesus. Mercenary provides strength at low HP and damage. During the fight, she will mark the wolf as prey. Prey is a tier 1 positive abnormality page with a +2 rate. The user marks the first enemy they attack. The user deals 2 to 6 damage when attacking the marked foe. Does what it says on the tin, except there's one problem. When that unit dies, you're unable to reapply the mark. So you're either dealing with a boss or you're overkilling an ad. Hey, it's up to you, but you'll probably choose other abnormalities. Time for Vengeance. A tier 1 breakdown page with a -1 rate. At the start of the scene, gain strength based on the amount of damage taken the previous scene. 1 strength per 5 damage taken, up to 2 strength can be gained. So much better than Prey, since it is always on. Vengeance is acquired early enough to help with the hardest part of the game and makes clashing winnable. Eventually, it will fall off because you will no longer be taking damage, but it is a nice insurance policy if it does. This card used to be even stronger. In early access, the strength gain was uncapped, so it's a self-loyalty effect for oneself. It was so broken, you could take it into a late game boss fight and win. Solo. So yeah, it had to be nerfed to current version because balance. Speaking of diminishing returns, we now have a card that does that. Ruddled Welts. A tier 2 breakdown page with a -1 rate. If the librarian's HP is at 50%, 35%, or 25%, or lower, gain 1, 2, or 4 strength at the start of the scene. Oh look, Eugen gets 4 strength. The 4 you know. Again, another insurance policy card for normal play. If you're getting this, you're either losing or about dead. Basically, a final ditch effort. Though, preferably, you want to be at a higher HP and outlast the enemy. However, with a proper build and keeping HP below 25% and doing intensive micromanaging, it's a permanent 4 strength, which is a massive power boost that cannot be ignored. It is good in certain builds, bad in others, so it's a build around card for those people that love being close to death. After that worthless abnormality that can't even clash right, let's go to her prey, the big and will be bad wolf. Aw, he looks so adorable. Looks like my dog. The big and will be bad wolf specializes in power gain, healing, and making Spring Genesis a tier 1 abnormality card with Claws of Savagery. A tier 1 breakdown page with a -2 rate. After the librarian sustains 25% or more max HP damage, become untargetable and unclashable next scene. Also, gain 2 strength and inflict 1 bleed next scene with each successful attack. Okay, I see why Red Mercenary sucks. Claws of Savagery is the best offensive and defensive abnormality page in the game. Defensive, because if you mess up or get staggered, hey, free turn to recover from it, heal, and be back at full HP for the next round of fighting, and can reproc the effect again. It's a tier 1 abnormality page, so it'll proc often after eating too many mind whips or focus fire, which is the normal usage for it. The strength gain and bleed is nice to get some damage off, but here's the real question. Why do it for 1 turn when you can stay in it permanently? Yeah, this page doesn't have a cooldown. So, if you self-take 25% max HP damage when untargetable, it'll keep proccing and keep you in stealth permanently. This can be done with the Urban Plague combat page, Now Die! Yeah, we all know stealth is broken and unfun. The worst part is, this card rewards this behavior with strength gain and bleed to re-enable other passives and can't be clashed with. Overloaded much? All for the low price of sacrificing 1 nugget turn 1. Hey, use it if you want to. I really don't care. It's a single player game. Speaking of being permanent, this next card will always be available in the second abnormality choosing, Role of the Wolf. A tier 1 positive abnormality page with a neutral rate. The user's counter dice gain 1 to 2 power. Counter dice inflict 2 fragile upon winning a clash up to 3 times per scene. More power, more boss killing, it's good all around, and helps counter to get their recycling effects off. Mainly taking on the Red Mist, since she has a free counter die available each scene. With the role known, it's time to act on instincts. A tier 2 positive abnormality page with a neutral rate. Each time the user wins a clash, the last die on their combat page gain 1 to 2 power. Recover 3 to 7 HP on a successful hit with the final die. Obviously, doesn't work on mass attacks, counter dice, and defensive dice for the final hit. Free sustain. That's kinda is all it's here for. The dice power is cute to make sure the final attack hits, but that's really it. This concludes our little tale. Remember kids, the wolf is always better than the merc. Though, in their wake, they created a mountain of corpses. Mountain of Smiling Bodies is a disgusting abnormality that specializes in healing, strength gain, weird HP interactions, and do you want to be a raid boss? Let's get the worst one out of the way and laugh at how bad laughter is. A tier 2 breakdown page with a neutral rate. When the librarian is at 50% or less HP, there's a 50% chance it'll screech. The screech deals 2 to 5 stagger damage and inflict 1 fragile to all enemies next scene. It can activate 3 times per scene. Okay, what was PM on? Cause being at 50% HP is a great time to stop taking damage and try to heal it back up. Not stay there, take more hits, and die for a 50-50 chance. I have no clue what to use it for, and even then, I don't think you even want to hear that. Hard skip. Now, we can only go up from here, and we can start by healing up our wounds. Absorption is a tier 2 positive abnormality page with a +2 rate. For the duration of the act, recover 20% of your max HP, max 20, upon defeating an enemy. At the start of the scene, gain strength based on the amount of HP the librarian has recovered this act. Gain 1 strength for every 10% of max HP healed, up to 3 strength. The HP must restore missing health. It will not activate if it overheals. Always take absorption in single act receptions. Easy to get, offers even more strength, and you're always running haulers, an attribution, or another abnormality page to restore HP. It'll always generate you 3 strength. Unlike her final page, which everyone wants but can't pull off, Mountain of Corpses. It's a tier 2 breakdown page with a -2 rate. All other librarians are immediately killed. The user gains max light capacity, restoration, strength, protection, and haste equal to the number of librarians killed for the remainder of the reception. Do you want to be a raid boss? Sounds great, huh? It is really good, but it has 2 problems. First, it's very hard to get close to its full value. The -2 rating at tier 2 is really difficult to get. The easiest way to gather a lot of negative emotion coins is through losing clashes or sacking off librarians. Sacking is now off the table since we want those meat bags to live. Limiting it to losing clashes, and with Gebura's penchant for winning clashes, well, it's a lot harder to get. Isn't impossible, only difficult. Secondly, if it was on any other floor or key page, all those bonuses are godsend. But on Gebura, well, you have the Red Mist key page that gives 0 cost cards and farms people for light restores. On top of having 5 other strength steroids, she kinda doesn't need it anymore. The only time you're taking this is if you're making someone else a carry, really messing up, or you're speed running for whatever reason. Outside of that, don't take. It's way too overvalued. Let's put the mountain of piling bodies back into its containment unit and bring out someone to help clean up all the blood. Nosferatu. Nosferatu gets excited for bleeding, healing, and damaging itself. Yeah, I got to go with all of the vampire tropes. I'm surprised Turn Undead and Garlic don't work on them. I could make a funny joke, but it's only about vampirism. A tier 1 positive abnormality page with a +2 rate. If the enemy has bleed on the current scene, every time the user hits them, deal 2 to 4 additional damage, and the user restores 2 to 5 HP. Mass attacks are excluded. Better health hauler with a harder activation. Oh wait, Digging Shanks and the Winning Clashes attribution exist. Never mind. Those two do a better job with bleeding than the next card, the Fear of Water. A tier 1 breakdown page with a neutral rate. On hit, inflict 1 bleed next scene and gain 1 blood. Mass attacks are excluded. Blood is a status that gives various benefits and drawbacks. At 0 blood, the user takes 4 to 8 stagger damage at the start of the scene. At 1 blood and above, the user takes 2 to 4 damage to deal 2 to 4 damage every time they attack. At 15 stacks, gain 2 strength next scene, then reset blood to 0. The abnormality page equivalent of I Hate Myself. It's supposed to be the enabler for vampirism, so you don't have to deal with the downside, but usually the HP lost or the stagger damage will kill you faster instead. The abnormality page can't kill you. What it does do well is help with proccing low HP skills like Reindeer Treatment, Ruddled Welts, and Vengeance. While it does help with that, you know what you could do? Let the enemy one-side you. Absolutely brilliant. Then, Project Moon decides to provide anti-synergy with a final abnormality page, Wine. A tier 2 positive abnormality page with a +1 rate. When the user defeats an enemy with bleed, gain max blood stacks, and all allies restore 10 HP. The blood effect only works if you have Fear of Water. It's kinda only good if you're killing everyone too quickly. This can proc multiple times if everyone has bleed, as long as the user is killing them fast enough. The niche then gets invalidated thanks to the abundance of healing in the game. Unless you forgot your haulers, you're not taking this. Though the Dragon Ball Z aura, chef's kiss. Now for the final abnormality.
Goodbye.
Nothing there. Which, ironically, has Gebura's tier 3s. What, we have 3 A-lifts on this floor and we only give nothing there everything? Come on. Starting off with the most taken and most boring, it's Shell. The user becomes immune to stagger damage from attacks. That's all. By the time you get this though, you're at tier 3. You should be stomping everything in your path, but in a multiple act reception, it does help out with the first turn. The stagger immunity is only for attacks. Other effects can get through, like passive effects like Mirrors and the red mist not getting 40 damage off. On top of that, the wording effects on combat pages will also go through. Also, Mind Hauler is right over there. That is basically Shell in a nutshell. Why do you need Shell? Like, I'm genuinely asking this. Why do you need it? Let's move on to a slightly better abnormality page. Hello. Each scene, the first die the librarian plays recovers HP equal to the amount of damage dealt. This includes mass attacks, though only the initial target. At worst, it's wine levels of healing. At best, you're enjoying a full HP recovery, rather easy to get off, easy to maintain. Hey, it's just free healing. Unless you're doing crazy red mist stunts like this. I mainly take this for the non-red mist units, and give them a quick repair to their health. Really good, but also rarely taken. A positive abnormality page with a negative rate. Holy hell, it's great at shape-shifting. The librarian doubles the power of the last die they play each scene. Mass attacks are included. You are doubling the final roll and not the card. So why is this so much better than the other two? Well, if you're hitting emotion level 5, the battle is over and it's now time to clean up. Having one person use a summation mass attack will destroy all remaining enemies, deleting everything. The other use is a very strong singular attack die, cause it is time to say goodbye. Let's say hello to the Floor of Language's E.G.O cards. Obviously, Red Mist is stuck to her personal ego, so only her assistants can use them. Let's get this out of the way, but all of the E.G.Os are slashing focused, so Kim, Iori Slash, and librarians that use Sharpened Sword and Snake Slit will boost them immensely. Starting off with the best support mass attack, Smile. A 4-cost mass attack individual with a 7 to 14 slash die. With on hit, inflict 2 feeble and disarm this scene. Throw up on your enemies and they get so disgusted they don't fight back as well, making it perfect for multi-act battles. First turn is where everyone is at their weakest and buffs will not happen until the following turn. This allows the Red Mist to clash and get set up for the rest of the fight. On top of that, if you're using Purple Tier Pierce Stance and Smile connects, the enemy will be throwing pills at you. It's a worse nihil, but it doesn't require any setup and it's still really strong. Also, it will lower enemy mass attack rolls since your units will always go first before the enemies. Time for the mini slash horizontal, Dipsia. A 5-cost mass attack summation with a 17 to 28 slashing die with an on hit, and this is per enemy hit, recover 5 HP and gain 1 strength next scene. Enemies hit receive 1 strength and 5 bleed next scene. Oh no, it gives strength to the enemy, it's garbage. Okay bucko, calm down. It's a Tippereth Road to Gold with healing and you're telling me it's bad? It's gained 5 strength, then win all of your clashes next scene. Also, you can kill them or stagger them if 1 strength really makes a difference. Dipsia is a very good page and can be viewed as a mini hello and combo card with another E.G.O. Speaking of hello, the next E.G.O page is exactly that, Mimicry. A 5-cost E.G.O melee page with a 19 to 35 slashing die with on hit. The user recovers HP equal to the damage dealt and inflict 10 bleed to the enemy next scene. Another full heal that is very easy to get off. It's rather comical that a staggered enemy is a full recovery for your guy. The other option is if you want to duel some massive single die attack, but I recommend not doing that when Gebura's vertical split is right there. Even though Mimicry has an insane recovery option, it doesn't do a whole lot of burst damage. Thankfully, Gebura's next E.G.O card may fill in that hole with Cobalt Scar. A 5-cost melee E.G.O with the effect. Dice on this page do not deal damage or stagger damage on hit. It comes with a 4 to 9 slashing die that is rolled 4 times, ending it with a 5 to 11 slashing die. The final die has on hit, deal damage equal to the sum of all valid rolls, 1 clashes or hits connected, done with all dice on this page. A slashing version of Solemn Lament, but way worse. The reasons why are on screen, but that's why it's all bad. But just way too many conditions for it to get actual use. Its real use is to clear out counter dice so the rest of your guys can one-side an enemy. Or you can use it as a recovery card, cause you're bound to be running health haulers. This is Geb's worst E.G.O card by far. Finally, we have the weirdest of them all, Red Mercenary Synchronization Crimson Scar. A 1-cost E.G.O page with on use synchronized with the Red Mercenary for the next 3 scenes. She comes with 3 1-cost Restore 2 Lights, 3 2-cost Gun Attacks, a desynchronization, a 4-cost Strike First Summation that was now a blunt die instead of a slashing one. I have no clue. Probably dulled all her shurikens. Finally, the 5-cost mass attack Bullet Shower, the only multi-mass attack individual for the Floor of Language. So, how good is it considering it came from one of the worst abnormality fights? A lot better than I thought it would be. You have a lot of light regen and strong base rolls, as well as 2 strong mass attacks. What holds it back is the requirement for light in order to get more light, and a lack of an offensive die type focus. To get the most out of the E.G.O, the turn you initiate it, try to end the turn with a lot of light, so either an emotion level up or sequencing right. Bonus points if you can activate a strength up card as well. When in Red Mercenary, you start laying down one of your mass attacks into shooting into light restore. For turn 2, you have 2 options, either to ride it out or desynchronize this turn to get back to your normal plays. If you're staying in, you can still use E.G.O pages, so you can use Dispia to get more strength and use the final mass attack the following turn. Definitely the second best synchronization E.G.O in the game, considering how broken Magic Bullet is and how cumbersome White Knight is. For builds that are not named Geb, I'm OP and broken. Let me vomit on you. Let's hunt! Berserker! I'm hungry like the wolf. Raid Boss and Meat Bag. Alright everyone, thank you for watching my So You Want to Main Red Mist video. And clearly you did, you legend. Please smash that like and subscribe button to help out the channel. Special thanks to Alice Mergatoroid, Zircone, Scientific Witch, Gouline, and Count Dooku for helping out. I'm Fox's Holo, and hope to see you in the next one.